Chapter 2. I dreamed of summer. Sun bright, woods green, Meg smiling and sparkling, skipping along with her hand in mine. The way we spent all the best days, headed to the stream, shoes and socks forgotten, the war forgotten. But Megs pulled away from me suddenly and started wailing. Megs? She didn't seem to hear me. She kept screaming. Megs! I couldn't shout loud enough for her to hear me. The sound caught in my throat. Then it was dark. It wasn't the woods anymore. I was in my room. It wasn't Meg's wailing. Sirens. I hauled my sisters out of their bed. Cammy hurried down the stairs in front of me. Ty, only 5, remained limp and drowsy and confused. I scooped her up, her head drooping on my shoulder as I rushed down the stairs. We found our coats and shoes at the front door, hung on hooks and lined neatly in a row, the way we always left them. Father hurried down the stairs, straightening his green street patrol uniform. Why are you wearing that? I asked, shouting over the sirens. It's not your night. Everyone from the street safety has to report if the sirens go off. He met my eyes in the dark. If he didn't go, he could be fined, or imprisoned, or worse, taken to the border to fight, even though he was older than most soldiers. Even though he was our father, and we needed him. Mother appeared behind Father, her face tight as she looked away from him to her girls, counting us in one glance. She met my eyes too, but only for 1 second. We were to go to the Heller's basement to await the catastrophe. Father was not. Be good, Big. Father brushed his nose lightly against my ear. I used to be little a long time ago before Cammy came, but since she was born, when I was 4, I have been big. When Ty came, Cammy became middle, little, middle, big. He added, "You're all my littles, always." Then he was gone, out the front door. Up and down the street, people raced across footpaths and yards. Meg's mother, Mrs. Swiller, ran toward us, a baby and a toddler on her hips, 2 more little children running with clasped hands behind her, struggling to keep up. Where's Megs? I stopped. Mother lifted Ty from my arms. Let's go, Mathilde. She'll be right behind us. Meg's mother said it like she expected it, not like she had checked. But I would. I wouldn't go down to the cellar without Megs, especially not if we were going to have to live there forever. Aerial engines roared above us. Mathilde, Mother yelled from the basement doorway. The engines roared louder, and I looked up as aerials appeared in the searchlights. Great winged flying machines of metal, built for war. Orange and black striped their wings. Black for Tizia, orange for the recent union with Arrowburn, our enemies. Come on, Megs. Mathilde, Mother yelled again. Come on, Megs, you promised you would be here with me. I counted the aerials, the moments. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. Where was she? Why wasn't her mother waiting, calling her like my mother was calling me? It would kill me if Megs didn't make it, but at another glance at my mother, and it told me that she was going to die right now, this instant, if I didn't get under cover. So I ran to catch up with my mother, my heart seeming to tear, but before I reached the door, a hand was in mine. A dark braid swung into view as someone hurtled ahead to drag us into the basement. Megs had made it. A single candle stub burned in the center of the bare cement floor. But that's it, Mrs. Heller announced. You should have brought down your own candles. The 3 Heller children lay on a mattress on the floor, cozy and sleepy, not having had to run outside to get here, still feeling the safe in their own home, even if it was their basement. Our mothers hadn't gotten us mattresses. Maybe they hoped it wouldn't be long. Maybe the aerials would just fly overhead quickly and we'd be back home in a few minutes. Like a fire drill, like Megs had said. No real fire. Megs' brothers and sisters huddled in a nervous heap around their mother, squishing like the sleeping family of kittens Megs and I had discovered in a hollow tree in the woods. Mother and Ty in her lap, having eased her into her coat, and Cammy sat next to them, her hand in Mother's, though she sat up straight, wide awake. I let go of Megs for a minute and went over to Mother. I squeezed her other hand. I'm sorry. Her breath seemed too fast, too shallow. She gave me a thin smile, not quite ready to forgive, but she loved me, so much it could drive her crazy. It was plain as the cement floor, but also as something prettier. The sky. It was plain as the sky, a crystal blue sky. I leaned in to kiss her cheek. "We're all here now," she whispered. "You can go sit with Megs." I nodded. But we weren't all here. Father wasn't. I knew she felt that too, though she wouldn't let herself say it. There were no fathers with us. Mr. Heller, like Megs's father, was a few years younger than mine and had also been sent to fight. Nobody who'd been sent to fight had come back. I'd been relieved Father was too old, but what was the difference? He'd been separated from us anyway, and we might never see him again. I joined Meg sitting against the empty stretch of wall. "What took you so long?" I asked. She shrugged. We told each other everything. Why couldn't she answer me? "This isn't so bad," Meg said. "If there was more light, we could study or read or draw or something. It could be like a sleepover." She meant to help me feel better, but pretending it was a sleepover wouldn't make me forget that my father was out there, somewhere, in danger. I didn't dare explain with Mother and Cammie listening. I didn't want them to worry even more. The rumblings of aerial engines increased, as if dozens flew over all at once. Then came thuds and pops. With each burst, the house rumbled above us. I looked up at the ceiling. Mother let out a long, strained sigh. Was this basement too shallow too? The thudding, popping bursts grew closer together, louder, overlapping. The pops shook the ground. We jumped. Depending on who jumped first, Megs and I would give each other's hand a squeeze. Twice we squeezed too early, waiting for the jump when no pop came. We both giggled. Probably not the best time to do that. Mrs. Heller erupted, fighting right over our heads now, aiming to kill us all. Mother shushed her. "You'll frighten the children." "I'm getting mine out of here, quick as I can." She nodded toward her children. "You'd best do the same. Sign your oldest up for that test. Maybe that's the way out." My eyes met Mother's. The posters had appeared a few weeks ago. "Children ages 12 to 14, serve your country now. Sign up for the Adolescent Army aptitude test at your school." We were children age 12, me and Megs. We hadn't spoken of it. Not me and Mother, not me and Megs. What did the Army want children for? Mother held my gaze, then said to Mrs. Heller, "Do we know it's better?" "They could be teaching them to fly aerials. The lighter the bodies, the better. But maybe they're just going to keep them safe deep underground, so when our whole world is gone, there will be someone to remember it, make those smarties memorize all of history." The whole world gone? "Anything would be better than sitting here," Mrs. Heller said. Mother was still looking at me. The candle puffed out suddenly, and I was glad, but Megs's grip on my hand had become a little looser. The second round of sirens, the all clear, sounded about 2 hours before dawn, and we trudged home to our beds. The air outside had a thick, sour smell, the sky an orange glow. The aerials were gone. They had been replaced with shouts and wailing, not mechanical sirens, but human ones. Mother hurried us inside. She didn't even let us pause to hang up our coats. "Can Father come home now?" Cammie asked. "Go to bed. He should be here soon." But a new crease across Mother's forehead said that she had no idea when or whether to expect him. Normally, he'd be home by 7 a.m., but with that strange glow in the sky, that smoke, the shouts and cries. Ty was still sleeping as I lay her on her bed. "Can I get with you instead?" Cammie whispered. "Of course." We climbed into my bed with our coats on. The room was cold, and my sheets felt crisp as I covered us. "Will we see Father again?" Cammie whispered. I knew she didn't want Mother to hear. "I think so." "Was that bombing?" "I think so. Other places have been bombed. I've seen them in the news pictures." "That's true." My mind had always struggled to understand the black and white newsprint photos. It looked like they showed the empty shells of buildings. But here it was always safe. We were always safe. Father was always safe. Shh. I ran my fingers down her face, smoothing her black hair, wiping hot tears off her cold cheeks. It's okay now. It's okay. You can sleep. But I didn't sleep until her breathing slowed, and I was sure that she had gone first. End of chapter 2.